In this unique series of videos, we are going to take you right back through to the beginning of our story and look through the history and heritage of some of our incredible race cars. Okay, so here we have the M19C from 1972. Now again, much like the M7C from 1969, there were lots of firsts on this car, particularly in terms of safety. Now we all know safety in the 60s and 70s wasn't really paramount, unlike today. But if you look at the car here, you can see where the driver is sat, he's surrounded effectively by a bathtub of fuel. There were no side impact bars here, so any sort of side impact, this stuff, this rolled aluminium, would split and spill fuel. You can see the engine is wide open. Very, very dangerous. However, this is the first car which had, if you look inside, the first 6-point harness system, which again is ubiquitous within Formula One nowadays. Secondly, brake cooling ducts. The worst thing that you would want to happen is to step on the brake and for nothing to happen. That could often be the case in the 60s and 70s because brakes would often cook and they'd fail. So we've introduced the brake cooling duct here to really get some air in and keep the brakes at an optimum working temperature. Nowadays in Formula One, you have to generate heat into the brakes for them to really begin to work and to be as effective as they are. Now coming to the back, we've still got the Ford Cosworth DFV. Again, we've got this air intake, but you'll notice on the steering wheel there's a kill switch. The reason being is that particularly if you started second or third row on the grid, the amount of dirt which was spun off from the cars in front of you would often make its way into the airbox and down into the throttle valves. So they would often jam open, which meant that the car would be out of control. So this was introduced just to kill the car, to make sure that again we were kept much safer. In terms of design, you come to the back, something which was pretty commonplace in the early 70s was inboard brakes. You can see the brakes, which traditionally and in modern cars are inside the wheel, but here they're inboard right by the gearbox and the differential. This was to change the unsprung weight, but we found that there was a lot of heat being generated here and really not helping the differential, but also it was generating lots of twist in the drive shaft, so they were moved back out to where they are and as you see them at the moment. This also marked our first commercial partnership with the Yardley. Yardley being a cosmetics company, and 1972 was the first time that we both came together to have the Yardley McLaren. So we're not just playing around with aerodynamics and weight distribution here. Everything has to become a little bit more streamlined and a little bit more aerodynamic. Even the Kiwi. So you can see as the Kiwi is just starting to round off ever so slightly. Now that's a story which carries on right through to the modern era where we have the contemporized version of the McLaren Speedmark.